The first thing we're going to look at, so we're in Classroom right now. To access Google Classroom, you can just go to, if you're on Google's website, you can just type in Classroom, and it'll pretty much be one of the first ones that come up. If you're in Chrome or really any of the tools, if you go to the apps launcher, it will most likely be here if you're in the education account. I'm not in the education account right now, so it's not showing up, but if I were, it would show up right here. So now that I am in Google Classroom, this is what it looks like if you don't have anything in your classroom, if you haven't populated anything. So this right here, we're going to go back and forth between the teacher and the student view. So when it's an eagle in the corner, we're in the teacher view. So I'm going to create a class. So I can click the plus sign, create a class, Google name, we're going to call it Google Training. If you teach multiple sections of the same course, so say you teach, biology in, first, second, and third periods, you could put biology and then the section can be the periods, whatever you want to do. Okay. So it's creating the classroom. Takes a moment. So when you're in the classroom, this is your stream. And the stream is kind of like your Facebook homepage, is kind of the best way to put it. You can put your banner up here, you can change your theme, you can upload a photo, really personalize it if you want to. If you were in the class with the students, you would use this class code and you could make it big and they would be able to view it and see it. You can still share this class code with the students, but we're going to show you a different way to kind of get them into the class as well. Right here is kind of like a calendar of any events and upcoming work that will be done, and we'll populate this as we go along. Here in the middle is your stream. So it's really anything that you post, any assignments you post will show up here, anything you kind of want to say, any announcements they'll all pop up here. So if I want to create something like an announcement, you can just click on it and say, and then I can post it. I can post it right now. I can schedule it to show up later today, or I can save it as a draft. You can also add any files or links that you want to, a YouTube video if you want them to view something, but these aren't actual assignments. So these things aren't assignments, they're just kind of announcements for the students. So then we're going to look at the People tab up here. So in the People tab is where you add your co-teachers and is where you add your students. So if you have a co-teacher, you would add them right here in the teachers plus sign, and that's where you would add them. And this is great because this co-teacher can use anything that you do. So they'll have all the same rights that you do. So they'll be able to add classwork and grades and do all of that as well. The students will be added here. So you just click here. If you have you're in a domain with the same students, and it will pop up. If you're not in the same domain as the students, then you'll have to kind of put in their actual email address. But you just copy and paste the email address here. So put it in there. I'm going to invite myself to this in a different email address here, and I'm going to invite myself. So we'll see what that looks like for the students afterwards. So that's how you add in the students there. So then if it's, I'll get to that about the domain. Someone asked a question about inviting people that don't have the same domains. If the admin allows it to, so it depends on how the admin has it set up in the back end for your Google Suite. you will be able to add people with different domains, but if they don't have it, then you might not be able to. So it depends on how the admin has it set up on their end. And that's a really good question that we'll look at later on when we're looking at some of the specific tools. So now we're going to go into classwork. So now we're just in the classwork tab. And here we can assign our classwork and we can create our work. One thing I'm going to highlight is this class drive folder over here. So when you create Google Classroom and when you create a Google class, automatically Google will create this classroom folder for you. So if I click on class drive folder, it will bring me to Google Drive, my own personal Google Drive. That's with tied to this account. And if I click on Classroom, so this is the class I just created, Google Training. If I have multiple classes, so I have, English period 3, history period 1, they'll all show up as folders here. You can then go into each individual class and see the documents that are there. So it will automatically organize everything for you, and it will do the same thing for the students. But it's really important to know that in order to get to it, it's in My Drive, and then there's a classroom folder. So it's not just the Google Training folder. It'll all be grouped within this classroom folder. So now I'm going to go back to Classroom, and I'm going to create an assignment. So I'm going to create, and I'm going to create an assignment. So I'm just going to copy one that I had. So I'm just going to create the assignment called Microbit, and the instructions I'm going to put on there is to post a picture. So over here, we're going to look at if I had multiple classes. So on my main page, if I had multiple classes, I'd be able to select all the classes here. So this is really handy. Like I said, if you teach 6 different history classes and they're all the same, or you want to send the same assignment out to all of them, you can it'll be a checkbox, and you can I only have one, which is why it's blocked out. But if I had multiple ones, you'd be able to basically just click all of them, and the same assignment would be able to send out to all of them. So you don't have to do it multiple times. Same thing with the students. You can send this to all the students, or if I had multiple students, you would be able to select all the students. So before I do that, I just want to actually look at the students view because we didn't look at that yet. So I switched over. So now I'm in the student view, and I'm just going to accept and join this class as a student. So I invited myself as a student, and so now I'm just joining it. So now the student will be in this class. So now, one moment. So there you go. So now you can see that my name's there. I can turn myself off. If I had multiple students, I could only send to some students, whatever you want. You can then put a due date if you want it. So I can make this due on the 25th. So the topic is a way to group the assignment. So I'm going to put this into a coding assignment or a coding topic. You can do it by week, sub-topic or unit, whatever you really want, in order to stay organized for yourself and for your students. Finally, you're going to want to add your assignment. So this is either you can upload a Google Drive folder or a document or a sheet or slides. You can add a link, a file, or you can upload a YouTube video. You can also create any of these as well. If you go to create it, so we're going to go to create a doc. this is automatically going to be created in that classroom folder that I talked about. So I'm just going to copy this because I don't need paste it in there just so we have something. Okay, so now this is my assignment that I'm going to create. So everything's done here, and I can assign it right away, or I can assign it as a later on if I want to. So if you want over the weekend, put a bunch of things in here, but you don't want to send them out to the students all at the same time, you can schedule them to be posted, over the week. So we're going to assign it right away. So now it's here, and it's under the topic called coding, because that's the topic I created, and it will fall right there. So we see it. This is from the teacher view. Everything's there. Looks all nice. We'll go back to training. We're back on our stream. And if you look, you will see that upcoming, now it says upcoming, and it says due Wednesday is this microbit. So you as the teacher know that you have this assignment that's coming up for the students to do. And so now what we're going to do, one second. I'm actually going to fix this for a second because I did not mention something. So here, one second. Sorry, I wanted to do something else with the assignment that I'm gonna add it from my folder. Okay, so this I forgot to say, which is really important. When you create an assignment, you have these three options right here. You can have the students view the file. So if you were viewing, say, that agenda I sent out, you could only view it. You couldn't actually edit it or do anything to it. So you could have them just view it. You can have them edit the file, or you can make a copy for each student. This is really great because every student can have their own copy. If you make a template, say you're writing an essay, each student will get a copy and they can fill it in themselves. If you just allow them to edit it, that means all 30 students that you have are editing the same document, which can get really crazy. So what you want to do is really make a copy for every student, so that each student can edit their own document. So we're going to make a copy for each student. And we're going to put that back on there. Okay. Perfect. So again, stream is there. I'm going to switch over to the student view so you can see what it looks like from the student perspective now that the teacher has just created an assignment. So you can see right at the top here, it says the stream was updated. So I've been on this other tab this whole time, and it will automatically let me know, hey, something new is there, update this. So I'm going to update it. So it shows that I created a new assignment, and it also shows upcoming right here that I have, an assignment due in a couple days. So if I click on the assignment, and here it is, right here is the document. And you can message a comment to the teacher if you want, or you can message a comment to the class. So we are going to click on the document itself. And notice how it says my name up top here? That's because I made a copy for every student. So every student, so you'll have, John Smith, Sarah Keller, and everyone will have their name and then the name of the topic. So this is a really easy way for you to stay organized on whose document you're actually looking at. So say upload your image. So I'm going to go and insert an image from my computer that I have. So there we go. So say I did what I had to do. And now I'm like, all right, this is great. I can turn it in. So the student can just click turn in. And now the document has been turned in. So if I was the teacher and I wanted to see, who's done their work and who hasn't done their work, you can look at it right here. So I have the stream, I have my classwork, so I can click on my microbit. It is turned in. Let me just refresh the page. I might have not picked it up. Okay, so now I clicked on the assignment and it shows here that one person has turned it in and 0 people have not turned it in. So if I had my class of 36, it could say, 15 people have turned it in and, more people haven't. So it kind of lets you know exactly who's turned in, who hasn't turned it in. If I clicked on the turned in, who's turned it in, this list right here, it'll be listed all of your students. You can change the point value here, or you can choose as ungraded. You can click on the document itself and kind of see, because they said, oh yeah, you turned it in, but obviously you need to check it. So you can open it up and you can make edits right here. You can talk to the student, add comments on it right here, and make sure everything's perfect. And then you can put your grade. So I'm going to say 100, and I'm going to return it to the student. So now it's been returned to the student. Let me just refresh this. We can see the grades there, 100 out of 100. And happy days, everyone sees everything. Under the grades tab, you can see how the students are doing. As you add more activities and more assignments, this section here will be populated. And as you have more students, it will be populated down there. The student, so we'll go back to the students page. I'll just refresh this to make sure it gets up. And now up here for the student, it says no work due soon because the student had turned in the assignment. So it's showing that they don't need to do anything. If they click on their classwork page, they can go in and see that's been graded, and they can see what their score was. So 100 out of 100. So that's kind of classroom in a nutshell. Another thing, just so you're familiar with over here, there is the calendar. So if you click on calendar, all of yours and or the students, whoever's, one you're in, will show up here. So all of your classes will show up here, any assignments that are due. So this is a really great way to see what's upcoming, what needs to be done. And it's a great visual for students because all of their classes will be here color-coded so they can see what's happening. Same thing with the to-do list. This will just be so you can see what you need to do and what has been done. So it's a great way for students to kind of see what's upcoming based on their classes and what they haven't done yet. Perfect. So what we're going to look at now is the sharing features for doc sheets and slides. This will be very quick because for the most part, they are pretty much identical for all of them. So we're not going to go through each individual one. I'm just going to highlight a couple important things for them. So over here in the blue button, you have the share button. And this will be the same for doc sheets and slides. They all look the same, so it's really easy. Once you know how to do one, you'll be able to do the other ones. You can just enter people's names here or email addresses, and you can choose if they can edit, comment, or can only view on the document. Or you can go to more advanced, and up here, if you click change, you can change to public on the web so anyone can search for it and find it. Anyone with the link, anyone within your domain, or anyone within your domain with the link. So if you have people outside of your domain that you want to share this with, change it to either anyone with the link or only share specifically with them. So basically have them share their email it to them specifically. You can then change, can they edit, view, or comment on the document? By default, it's view, but you can always have them edit if you want them to. Another way to, another thing for editing is over here. If you're in a student's document or if you're in someone else's document, maybe you're working with the teacher, you're trying to create a document together. You can change it from editing to suggesting, which will actually kind of, it will change it to green, it will cross something out, and then the next person can say, accept or reject what's happening. So you can accept it, it changes it automatically. You also have the comment feature, which is right in the middle here with the plus sign. And this doesn't actually change the document itself. It just puts a little comment over to the side, kind of like a little sticky note. So it's right over to the side right there. You can resolve it if you don't want to see it anymore. You can then post a reply. So if you're going back and forth with the teacher kind of working on a document, you can have a little chain here kind of talking about it. And then finally in this, and again, this is with all of these doc sheets and slides, is the activity dashboard, which you can either access from this button right here, or go to Tools, Activity Dashboard. So in the activity dashboard, which I think is awesome, there's no other really word for it, you can see obviously who the document shared with and who's viewed the document. So you can see exactly who and when people have viewed the document. So you can see if your student has viewed the document 5 minutes before it's due or a week before. You can look at the trends of when people are viewing it, the comment trends, the sharing history. So who you've shared it with, maybe who other people have shared it with, and you can change any privacy settings as well. So it's really great in order to kind of track to say who's actually been viewing the work while you're, sending these out. So now we're just going to look at forms. I know I'm probably going kind of quick. If you have any questions again at the end, I want to make sure we have time for questions. So just ask me them once we get there. I'm just going to create a blank form, not a... So here's my form. You can change the title. And I'll change right up there. And first, we're going to look at just the form itself and the different question types. So you can create a form and say if I wanted to say, you can put a question in here. What month is it? And I can, these are all the different choice options. So a big thing, the different types of them, a linear scale is like 1 to 5. The multiple choice grid is what you did with the form for signing up for the training, where you can only put one answer per row, whereas the checkbox is where you can put multiple answers per row. So we're going to do a short answer. Here you can make it required or not required. And if you want to put a description, so write the month or some helping tips or whatever. If you want to add an image or a video, you can add them here and it will just pop up down here below. So now, so that you can just keep adding questions as you go along. You can change it. You can delete the question. You can duplicate a question. So it's fairly simple in that sense. Say I wanted to make this a quiz. In order to do that, I go up to the settings. I go up to the settings, and over here under quizzes, I say make this a quiz. And then you have a couple options. You can assign it. Sorry, we changed screens for a second. Okay, I think you can see me again. You can submit, have them see their grade right away or later. You can, respondents can see the missed questions, correct points, point values, anything like that. So we'll go ahead and save this. And so now what you need to do, so if you just leave it like this and submit it, it's not actually a quiz. You need to put in the answer key. And this is the really important part of it. So add a correct answer. So currently it is March. So we'll say March. And then we'll say, well, maybe they're not going to put a capital M. We'll do March lowercase. So those are the two correct answers. And we're going to assign this to 1 point. Done. So now, if I were to go take this quiz, so I'm just going to click on the preview button and you can see it. What month is this? March. Submit. And we have that one. I can view the score. Oh, good, I got it right. Because I did the capital M. Say I did it again, though, and I did M space ARCH, and I submit it. That's going to mark it as wrong because that wasn't one of my correct answers. But that's okay. Obviously, the student might be upset about it, but that's okay for you as a teacher because you can go back and fix this. So now, if the teacher is in and they can see, oh, we have 2 responses. So I click on the 2 responses. And then I go into the question. You can see a summary of all of the work that happens and what the responses were. Here, it will show, so if I had multiple questions, I could go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you could see all the responses for each question. But we only have 1 question, so there's only one we can go to. But we see that this person put in March, and they got 1 point. But this person obviously made a mistake, and they put a space bar there. So we're actually going to, so it was ungraded because the computer didn't know mark it wrong or yes. So we can go ahead and just mark it correct and save it. So now the student didn't lose any points. So it's a great way for you to go back and kind of see what they're doing. And even if you did want, you kind of wanted to, review their responses, you can go back and do that. So the next question I've been seeing a lot from people, I'm just going to delete this and delete all of our responses so we can start with the blank one again, is about taking attendance. So I know that's it's obviously very tricky right now because we're not with the students. But this is a form is a great way to do it. So you could start off by saying, what is your name? And obviously it kind of tells you some options on what it should be. And then what is today's date? And it automatically chose dates. If you want the students' emails, you can add a question there to have them put in their email, or you can go up to the settings. So in the settings, you can say collect email addresses. You could also restrict this to only users in your domain. But if you're going to be sharing this outside of your domain, you're going to have to untick that. So just be careful. Just look at the settings there for you. So now, say I'm a student and I'm going to do this, and say every day I have to sign in and do this. So I'm a student. I'm going to put in my name, Amy, and today's date is the 20th, and I'll submit it. But say I'm going to be like, next week, I'm going to say I was here all a couple days next week. So on the 23rd, I was here, and on the 24th, I was here. I'm going to submit all of them. I'm just going to turn off the quiz section of this. So I think I signed in as I did attendance, and the teacher's not going to know that I wasn't actually there or checking my work on Monday and Tuesday. But that's not the case, because you have your responses, and if you go over here in the response tab and you click on this little green icon, it will automatically convert all of the information from your form into a Google Sheet, which is great and a really easy way to see what's happening. So now, if I look at this, I can say, Amy signed in the 20th, 23rd, and 24th. But then I actually go look over here at this timestamp, and this will automatically show up on any form that you do, is this timestamp. Sometimes it can be annoying if you don't need the timestamp, but sometimes it can be really beneficial, for instance, like this. And I can say, well, she signed in on the 20th, it was the 23rd was the date, but she really signed in. She did that on the 20th. Same with the 24th. So those 2 days, she wasn't actually there, or she didn't actually check her work. So that's a really handy way to kind of check and to verify whether or not students are looking at, what they're supposed to be looking at, or whatever you want them to be looking at, or taking attendance. So the last thing we're going is just doing office hours. So we have Google Meet. So if I wanted to, I could turn on my camera. Some of you guys have your cameras on, and we can talk and we can act like we're really in the room together. And you guys could be unmuted and we can have this great conversation, which is great, and it's a great way to do this. But if you only want to do it for one student, it can be really challenging to kind of arrange with every student the times. So what you can do is use Google Calendar. So we're going to go to Google Calendar, and we will create a new event. So we're going to create an event, and we're going to say appointment slots. And we're going to change this right here to appointment slots. So go change from event to appointment slots. And you can pick your date. So we'll say on the 24th. And we're going to go from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And I want 30-minute check-ins with my students. if you click on more options, you can change anything there if you want to see anything. Finding a time if other students are doing this as well. You can do those things as well. So then do save. And notice also I had created assignments from Google Classroom, and they're also popping up in my calendar as well, which is a handy thing. So everything is automatically kind of populated in one, different places. Well, one central area for this. So now, if you want to share this with your students, so if I go to the appointment page, here are all the slots students can sign up for. So basically, you would just copy this URL and send this to students, and they'll be able to pick a time by clicking on the appointment slot. They can say maybe if they want to put in their name and then save it, and then you automatically get an email saying so-and-so has booked this time. They can then put this in their own calendar if they wanted to. So if I was going to put this into my calendar, it would automatically go and it would automatically save there. So it's a great way to kind of work and meet the students and to kind of see when they're available, for them to kind of have the freedom to pick a time, especially if a lot of teachers are doing this. It's a way for them to kind of organize their day and make sure they're seeing all of their teachers. So the last thing before I do any questions is on our website, we have we created a new page basically for remote learning. So if you go to our website, aquilaeducation.com, and go to remote learning, you will automatically have all the resources that we are putting up here. So we have a Google Tools for Education online course, so that we'll go more in depth with everything that we're kind of focusing on. For you teachers that are in New York and New York State in general, we are CTLE approved as well. So we have we can offer credit for that. This is the virtual training for today. We'll probably be doing more of them throughout the next few weeks, so just stay tuned for anything that signs up. Some resources that you can use. So we've kind of created this that you can filter by app or a web service, what type of what you want to use it on, by subject, grade level, and we'll be adding to these as well. They are free, and we just want to make a database for teachers to access so they can use it when they're creating lessons for this remote learning for their students. And finally, every day we are going to be posting some free lessons. So yesterday we did one on the microbit, and then today we did one using the app AR Curriculum. And there's a lesson, you can grab it. If you open it up, it will bring you to a Google Doc, and there's a link right here. You can click on it, and it will automatically create a copy in your drive. So you can then share it and put it into your classroom or wherever you want to in order to share it with the students. So it's a really easy way for you to get some resources as we go along. The resources will range in all levels, all different subjects. We just want to make sure we are providing you guys with some things that you'll be able to do this. So that's pretty much everything that we're going to cover. If you have questions, I will check the chat right now, and we can kind of go through these things. Just put a question in the chat. If you have other questions that you might not want to ask on here, send me an email. Here's my contact details, and we will hopefully be in touch. And if you guys have anything, just let me know.